Coal seam gas extraction is the process by which natural gas, largely methane gas, contained by water pressure within coal seams, is extracted from some 300 to 1500 metres below ground. Traditionally, single vertical wells are drilled into the earth, pumping up water and releasing the pressure in the ground so gas can escape into the well, as shown in the diagram, or via a similar process called fracking, instead involving the injection of a water mix into the well, releasing more gas at a time. However, processes such as these have developed controversy between governments and many minority groups over the years, due to the environmental trade-offs it must undertake to maintain such a scheme. Australia has just begun the production of coal seam gas in the last decade in an attempt to prepare for future gas shortages predicted in 2017. As a result, many sample wells have been set up throughout the eastern Australian basins, spanning from the top of Queensland through to the lower half of New South Wales, in search of optimum locations. This area is said by governments to have enough coal seam gas to supply for 120 years, and if extracted would more than meet future consumer demand. Environmental issues that are of concern to local communities in the affected areas include the gradual depletion of aquifers and groundwater levels for nearby agricultural bores, the storage and disposal of coal seam gas water as it leaves the earth, increasing threats to biodiversity due to land clearing, and an increase in infrastructure causing habitat fragmentation. There are multiple locations throughout the eastern side of Australia in which these problems are emerging. A case study into the Pilliga State Forest in New South Wales raises these issues and shows the management plans and research practices currently in place. Located near Barradine and Narrabri, the Pilliga State Forest in northwestern New South Wales is Australia's largest semi-arid woodland at 500,000 hectares and is the southern recharge area for the Great Artesian Basin. Due to efforts from Australian oil and gas company Santos, the area now accommodates a gas-fired power station, close to 50 production bores, 13 water treatment facilities and storage ponds, approximately 60 kilometres of gas and water pipelines, and a location for the release of water into the Bahina Creek, which flows into the Murray-Darling Basin. The main environmental consideration pointed out by communities and the National Water Commission is that the aquifers and groundwater levels may be lowered due to the extraction of large amounts of water daily from already situated wells. The National Water Commission also stated that not only is there the potential to overuse resources, such as the Great Artesian Basin or the Murray-Darling Basin, but it could have flow-on effects to nearby groundwater users undertaking processes such as irrigation or the maintenance of grazing fields. Well-established groundwater-dependent vegetation, such as plants and trees in the Pilliga State Forest, are also at risk from dying off. It is estimated that the coal seam gas industry will use around 300 gigalitres of water each year, and the continuous drawing of water from basins like these will need rigorous monitoring if they are to be kept at a sustainable level. For towns like Barradine and Narrabri, who rely strongly on their agricultural gain, the government has responded by creating the Independent Expert Scientific Committee on Coal Seam Gas and Coal Seam Mining to monitor the situation. As stated, in order to extract gas, coal seam water is drawn from the earth where the chemical composition is much different to that of surface water, so it becomes stored in large ponds for safety until it is moved to a treatment facility where it is purified and disposed of naturally. The storage and disposal process of coal seam gas water and its effect on the environment through possible contamination or spills is another issue communities are concerned about. A report from the Northern Inland Council for the Environment documents a major spill in 2010 of over 10,000 litres of untreated water into the surrounding vegetation, resulting from a poorly constructed storage pond and having detrimental effects on native flora, killing plants for hundreds of metres around the site, heightening levels of tension between governments and community groups. Santos released an official statement saying they are concerned for the environment and would rejuvenate the exposed area. They also assured storage ponds are only to hold water until it is treated and can be used for multiple other benefits to the community. Pilliga State Forest is also an internationally listed bird area and contains homes for 48 other threatened species including flora and fauna. With the push from the government to expand the already large exploration site worth an estimated $2 billion, coal seam gas wells could become more abundant. They would cover a square-like arrangement anywhere from 200 to 750 metres apart via pipelines, major roads and other infrastructure, such as more treatment plants and gas power stations, changing the environment into a fragmented cleared land, cutting off food resources in some areas and heightening predator abundance in others.